The founder of Christianity, Jesus Christ, declared, "Do unto others as you would have others to do unto you." The word others means or indicate numerical and general distinction, which means that all men are here included, not just the Caucasian man. Certainly, if the founding fathers were Christians, were followers of Christ, as many would have us to believe, they would certainly have kept this great commandment, because upon this commandment hangs the law and the prophet. For black men on the shores of Africa were included in the word others. Marriage and the family institution was ordained by God and established by Christ, as recorded in the book of St. Matthew 19:3 and 6. But marriage for the black slave was not recognized. Paternity was not recognized. The offspring became the property of whosoever owned the mother. The child and mother relationship had to be respected only until the child could be utilized for labor and therefore had a sales value. The biological father had no social significance, whether he was black or white. Occasionally, white fathers did recognize and care for offsprings from black mistresses. The marriage which did take place between the blacks were loose arrangements without mutual obligations. When you have a breakdown of the family structure and the marriage institutions, the results are insecure children, lack of parental authority and guidance, immorality increases in the community, and because of economic and social problems, children oftentimes drop out of school and turn to negative, passive ways of escape from the prison of poverty and ghetto life. And as a result, these negative ways often lead to drugs, alcohol, gang warfare, excessive sexual indulgences. If the white establishment was Christian or Christ-like, it would never have committed the sin of deliberately separating families on the shores of Africa and further disintegrating the family structure of black people for years in the early history of America. In fact, the positive family structure of thousands of black people are still hampered and prevented today by certain laws which stipulates that a family cannot receive federal welfare aid while the husband is living at home. Therefore, the father, not wanting to see his children starve and without shelter, leaves his wife and children. This inhuman law was changed in some states in 1962, but it still applies in many others. But what is the basic purpose of this law? It is simply to destroy the image of the father in the black man's family structure, and at the same time destroying his image as a family provider, as well as a stabilizing force of the marriage union. This then brought the woman into focus as the provider and stabilizing force of the home. So instead of the children being able to relate to their father for security and provisions, they had to depend upon mother. And the mother had to depend upon the white boss man for menial work in the kitchen and for odd jobs around the house for her children in order to keep body and soul together. Yet, so-called Christian America expects a people which have been enslaved and oppressed for over 349 years to be just as productive and established as a people who have never known oppression. And may I say emphatically, no other slaves were treated as inhumanly or oppressed so severely and disorganized as far as identity and family structure than the black African slaves which were brought to the American shores. Yet the white middle class and affluent society rise over and around the ghetto by the parkway and ramps, back and forth to work, and also to their plus churches on Sunday, where they sit so pious and sing hymn number 26, Faith of our fathers, we will love both friend and foe in all our strife. Yet the majority do not know what love is. First, love is a verb which denotes action. God so loved the world, which includes all men, not just you, your family, your race, or your kind. Next, Love can be known only from the action it prompts. True Christian love, whether exercised towards the brethren or men in general, is not an impulse from the feelings. It does not always run with the natural inclinations, nor does it spin itself only upon those for whom some affinity is discovered. Love seeks the welfare of all, Romans 15:2, and works no ill to any, 13:8-10. Love seeks opportunity to do good to all men, Galatians 6:10. Black men, yellow men, red men, and poor men. Excommunicating yourselves from the black community is no excuse. Closing your eyes to the problems is no excuse for not doing good unto all men. God declared in Isaiah 1:17, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. James 2:5-6 declares, has not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he has promised to those that love him? The 6th verse declares, but ye have despised the poor, and oppressed them. Go to now, ye rich, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Behold, the hour of the laborers, who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord. Ye have lived in pleasure on earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Certainly, this is not the kind of Christianity that Christ taught. No, 8,000 times no. But it is the kind which the white establishment practices. But the Bible says, woe unto them that call good evil and evil good. For whatsoever a nation soweth, that shall it also reap.